Okay, slightly different video than in the past. I'm just going to talk about handhelds right now, and I'm completely riffing. I riff every time I do a video, but this is even more riff. I wasn't planning on recording anything at this moment, but I now feel compelled to because I've had the Ally X since it launched, but recently I acquired the Legion Go. This thing has been on super sale everywhere for 500 bucks, maybe even a little bit less around Black Friday time. And it's interesting. I really like the Legion Go. It has its faults. I'll do a separate video just on that. That is something I planned on doing. But, it wasn't until I got the Legion Go that I really started to feel like these handhelds separate themselves. So here's the OLED edition of the Steam Deck, which is amazing. So the journey here, okay, I got the LCD deck a few months after it launched. I had to wait in line, just like a lot of people. Finally got it, totally changed how I game. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you went through something similar, right? Now you get access to your back catalog and you can play all these games that you loved or maybe you just didn't feel like you had time for. You can play them way more easily. And it's like the PS3 era of games. Not necessarily PS3 games, right? But just that time, those kind of games. Those are the ones I was playing the most. And as newer games came out and I got through the parts of my backlog that I cared about, I kind of hit a point where I'm like, man, come on, Steam Deck, do more for me here. And then I found myself gaming, going back to my gaming laptop, which is like super loud. It's a gaming laptop. It's not the best. So anyhow, then I picked up the ROG Ally, the white one, not this newer one, the X. And I stopped playing my Steam Deck until the OLED came out because all of a sudden on the Ally, I'm playing newer games at reasonable frame rates, like Ghost of Tsushima, for example. But then I'd go back and forth sometimes because I was like, man, the screen on the Steam Deck OLED is so great. And I'd pick that up. Anyway, I ended up getting rid of the Ally. I sold it, and I just used my Steam Deck and my gaming laptop. So a lot of love for the Steam Deck, like a lot of people have, and there's tons of videos on YouTube about that. But what is it about the Legion Go that has enhanced my opinion of the Ally X? It's hard to articulate, but I think it mostly comes down to simplicity. So I will, like I mentioned, I'll do a video on the Legion Go. What I really like about the Legion Go is the screen. This thing is huge, and I'll power them both up. You get so much screen real estate here, and it looks super good. The colors, the contrast are awesome. It's not OLED, but gosh, it very well could be. It's just so beautiful, and it's huge. It just looks like a more modern product than the ROG Ally X. The detachable controllers, I've tried using them. I found that FPS mode that it offers, which I'll detail in a full video, not really for me, but I will disconnect them sometimes and use the built-in kickstand to prop it up and play. So it has some extra functionality that the X doesn't have. It has a pretty decent overlay where you can make adjustments to your brightness, resolution, and such. And you can turn on various things like RSR, or you can affect the lighting. I'll go into it in the full review. But what it doesn't have is the simplicity of the Ally X. That's what I love about this thing. Believe me, when I've been going back and forth a lot lately from the Legion Go to the Ally X because I'm testing this for review, and so I have to play it, so I can really give an informed opinion. But I'm also just enjoying the X so much that, when it's time to not be a reviewer, I guess. I'm not really a reviewer, but anyway, when I want to play other games that I think run better on the Ally X, I find myself really appreciating this thing. However, the screen difference really gets me every time. So I'm gonna power this thing up. One of the things I love about this device is the fingerprint reader. So if you press on the power button from hibernation mode, you keep your finger on there for a second. I mean, honestly, less time than what I just showed you. Let me just, 1 second here, make sure it logs me in. Still loading. But anyway, you keep your finger on there. The fingerprint sensor, 9 times out of 10, it reads your finger, like it remembers it, from the time you press the power button, and it turns it on. And let me see. No, it didn't work that time. So I just put my fingerprint on there again and off and running. Okay, so I go from the Legion Go's like big, giant, contrasty screen to this smaller screen. It's like, oh my gosh, the screen is so small. Man, I really like the Legion Go. But then I get to playing, and it's like, oh man, this is why I love the Ally. For me, it just, the interface, the tweaking, armory crates, all of that stuff is easier, I think, on the Ally X. Now look, man, building PCs and getting crazy with min-maxing all these devices, like that stuff it's not for me. I have built tons of PCs. I used to build PCs for a living and for fun. And I'm just over it. Like, that's just not me anymore for whatever reason, right? Like, to each their own. So I don't need it as simple as the Steam Deck where you just turn it on and start playing and off you go. But, I can do some tweaking. Like, I can jump in here into the menu and I can, change the mode. Feed it 15 watts instead of 25. I could turn on RSR. I can kind of understand AMD fluid motion frames. I can kind of get that one, but it has conflicts. So for example, you can't turn it on and also check your FPS at the same time with a real-time monitor. So you have to turn that off and then do that in the global settings of the AMD driver and then turn this on here. But then how do you know if it's really working? And too much time fishing around for me to do that. But I can do those, littler things, which I still think is valuable. So I can go, if the Steam Deck is the bottom in terms of simple handheld PC gaming, plug and play, off and running, easy stuff, get going. This is the next level up. And then I think the Legion Go is a level above that. If you're a real PC enthusiast, you're gonna love the Legion Go. Aside from the controls, the ergonomics, and all of that other stuff that I'll get to in the review, I think just from a configuration and capability standpoint, you'll like the Legion Go. Now, technically, the Ally X does have the opportunity for better performance on a lot of games because it has 24 gigs of RAM versus the 16 on the Legion Go. So you can allocate 8 gigabytes of RAM to the video card, leaving 16 gigabytes of system memory, whereas on Legion Go, you can't get that much. It's a big difference. And also, it has the same frequency RAM as a Legion Go, so no hardware disadvantages. And the resolution is a native 1080p versus, I think it's 1440 on the Legion Go. I think I got that wrong. It's like 2560 by something. It's a higher resolution, which does introduce opportunity for integer scaling, more flexibility. Again, reinforcing what I said about the Legion Go being, really good if you're into tweaking and stuff like that. Anyhow, then the controls and the ergonomics. I was just telling a friend of mine this the other day because he was looking at the Ally for Black Friday sale. It was really inexpensive relative to MSRP. And I was explaining to him sort of what I perceive to be the differences between these systems, from the OLED switch, which he has, up to the Legion Go. And the thing that I came back to is, man, when it comes to ergonomics, nothing beats the Steam Deck. There are ways that you can buy aftermarket products to help with the ergonomics on every device. But if you're just looking at it objectively from what you get out of the box, I think you just can't beat what the Steam Deck offers in terms of comfort. But gosh, is it a shame that it's capped at 800p, or maybe I think it's 800p, and only 90 hertz resolution. When I'm playing this, and it says 28 frames per second, but because it's a VRR display, it is smooth. Like, I'm not having really any issues. So with the frame rate and being able to aim and play the game, it's still enjoyable. And when I'm not in these heavy fighting areas, it'll go up to like 45, 50 frames per second. I'm mostly on medium and high settings here. So if I were to tweak that further, I could probably get closer to a stable 40, whereas you can't do that on the Steam Deck at 1080p. So anyhow, that's not me bashing the Steam Deck. I love the Steam Deck. I'm just trying to find reasons to use it. I'm kind of stuck in that spot. And what I've been doing lately is streaming my PS5, because I was looking at the PlayStation Portal. It's like, I can save $200 and just use Chiaki and stream from my PS5 to my Steam Deck, and that works really well. So I still have some use for it. Anyway, we're in a really good spot right now as a community because there's so many handhelds out there that they keep coming out, they keep getting better, and we're going to see improvements year over year for a while. And these will start to eat into gaming laptop market share for sure. And I don't know how that's going to be assessed. It certainly hasn't been assessed yet that I can find, but that will happen. And so we're going to see a huge growth here, especially as these software features like fluid motion frames and RSR, as those get better, it's really going to help with efficiency and of course performance, perceived performance as well. So all that is a positive, and it's really fun. So, you know, do you want one? Do you want two handhelds? You know, right now I have three, and it's overwhelming. So again, like I said, didn't really have a plan for this video. I just want to jump in and talk about how much I like this. I was about to continue playing and lose track of everything else, but I just feel like if you're going to rate all these handhelds between ergonomics, performance, value, capability, all of those different areas, I think you're going to find the middle of the road, but not, how do I put this? The ROG Ally X is the perfect blend of all three. It's not as comfortable as the Steam Deck, but it's more comfortable than the Legion Go. It's not as battery efficient as the Steam Deck, but it's more battery efficient than the Legion Go. More battery capacity is probably a better way to phrase it. And ease of use, a new category I'll add to this. Not as easy as the Steam Deck, but easier than Legion Go. You see where I'm getting with this? Like across all those categories, and that's where you go. Now, here's the big caveat though. This is $800 using the Z1 Extreme platform. Yeah, it has good RAM and it has extra RAM, but you know, and a functioning SD card slot. But ultimately, we're already starting to see incredible rumors and information come out that the next generation of handhelds is around the corner. It's December as I'm recording this. We're probably looking at the end of the first quarter, early second quarter next year, where, you know, this $800 product is going to be less valuable because there's going to be more powerful systems, maybe another Ally, but certainly we're going to see another Legion. And you know, one thing that you got to give Lenovo credit for is they really have an awesome product here that's different from the others. If the rumors that I'm seeing are true, and we're only going to have 7-inch Legion Goes, I think there could be a problem there for them, trying to differentiate against the other products with the same size screen, which will likely yield a very similar design, so it won't even stand out aesthetically. I think that could become a problem. I think they're onto something though with this larger screen. There's a market for that. I could see a world where somebody has a Steam Deck and they also have a Legion Go, and then they just choose what they're going to play. Like maybe the Steam Deck, since this is unlikely to be upgraded for a while, according to Valve, right? They want to wait for a substantial performance increase. This will be your indie title, handheld, older game handheld, and then this is something that you'll play newer games on because it has more performance capability. And if even at 1080p or 1200p, I think this 8-inch screen is great. So if they were to do, you know, bring down the resolution so it can run natively with better performance, and maybe they add VRR, I don't know, maybe they go do an 8-inch OLED, would be insane. Continue to have the disconnecting controllers, I think that's cool, but make it easier to use. All that stuff, they'll continue to stand out in the marketplace. So anyhow, this was about the Ally X, and I just wanted to riff on that for a bit. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.